My name is Sofefun, Managing Director of Investment One Vencap. With me today is
I'm the Center Manager at IDEA, a technology platform that works with entrepreneurs who leverage technology to create disruptive solutions.
Today, Fumbi and I are going to be talking to you about the do's and don'ts of pitching. Every entrepreneur knows that pitching is a way of life. It's an everyday occurrence. It's what you do in order to get funding for your business. But the pitch is really important. If you don't know how to pitch, you're not likely to get the investment you need. You're not going to achieve the dream you have. So today we're going to be, first of all, telling you what should be in your pitch. You only have about 20 seconds to impress your investor. Yeah. And that 20-second pitch is what we call your elevator speech. So Fumbi, what should be contained? What should be in your elevator speech?
There are 6 things that you need to have in your elevator pitch. The first one is your name, of course. The name of the product or your company they are trying to pitch. The second one is the problem. What problem are you trying to solve? The third one is the solution. What solution are you trying to create for the problem you mentioned? The fourth one is how big is this market? You need to know how big this market is. The fifth one is how do you intend to make money from this venture? And the sixth one is have you gained or have you gotten crowdfunding for now, maybe through family and friends or angel investments?
So those are 6 things, and you only have 20 seconds. It sounds impossible, but it is really a speech. You'll notice that I say elevator speech, he says elevator pitch. So don't think about it too much that you're pitching. Just think about it. You're just trying to introduce yourself to somebody, and you only have 20 seconds to make a quick intro. Let the person understand who you are and what you do. That is all it is. So don't overthink it. But for the rest of this video, we'll show you how to make it into a larger presentation. Because sometimes you have only 4 minutes. Other times you may be given up to 10 minutes. So it's really important that you time whatever you're going to do. So once you do the intro, it's only 20 seconds, and that gives you either for a 4 or 5 minute pitch, you have the remaining 4 minutes to use, or if you have up to 10 minutes, then you have a whole lot more time. So once this is, you understand these 6 things, these form the basics of your pitch. And in the next segment, we'll discuss a little bit more. So now we're going to discuss what should be the framework for your pitch. Just like we did in the first section where you had 6 points, in this way, and this section you have 8 points. That forms the framework for your speech, for your pitch. So the first thing you do is you summarize. You just give your 20-second elevator speech. Number 2, you have to define what is the problem you're trying to solve. But you don't over-elaborate it. Just be clear on what the problem is, because once the problem is obvious, it will help your audience.
The third one is, what solution are you creating for the problem you identified? Is it actually going to solve the problem? And also, without also naming any technical jargons. And the fourth one is, how big is this market? What percentage of this market are you trying to target? And how will you reach that market?
Number 5, you have to think about your competitors. I think most times entrepreneurs think that they're the only game in town, but most of the time you do have a competitor. Your competitor may not be the one that giving a solution the same way you're doing it, but at least if there's a problem today, people are able to work around it somehow. So you need to make sure that you consider those competitors, and then you tell your investors what is your own competitive advantage, what is the value add that you are bringing to the game that will make people convert to yours. And number 6, how will it make money? Investors are in need for profit. So unless you're pitching to a non-profit organization, you need to make sure that early enough in your pitch, the investor knows that this is a bankable project, which means it can make money.
One of the things that investors look at when they want to invest is the team ahead of the idea. And you need to explain who are the people behind this product, and a little bit of their background and their achievement. And you also need to be very clear if you need to hire a team. If you identify a missing gap in your team and you need to hire someone to fill that gap. And again, if you are missing an experience gap, don't be shy to mention the fact that you work with an advisor or a mentor who covers up for that gap. The 8th one is, how much money do you need? A lot of people are very shy to ask, or they are scared to ask investors how much you really need. It's very critical that you need to ask how much do you need, and set milestones on how you're going to achieve, how you're going to spend that money. It's very critical.
So now that we have covered those 8 key points, we're now going to go into the actual do's and and don'ts.
And don'ts. So we are going to the do's and don'ts of presentation. We'll start with the do, and we have 6 points. The first one is practice, practice, practice. You need to create a time presentation and create allotted time for each slide so that you don't go above the allotted time. The second one is you need to make sure that your slide is very readable and minimize the number of text, the amount of text you have in your slide. Make sure you try to leverage infographics as much as possible. It's easy to understand and easy to grab.
So number 3, you have to show enthusiasm. You have to have high energy because the road to entrepreneurship is pretty tough. There are going to be potholes, there are going to be landmines, there are going to be some craters along the way. The investor wants to make sure if you hit a roadblock, can you find a way to overcome it? Or are you likely to just give up? So when you show enthusiasm, it shows that you're really committed to the project, you're really committed to your idea, and you can see it through. Number 4, you need to know your audience. If you're pitching at a competition, you need to know that a lot of people may not be as familiar with your subject matter, so you need to bring it down to their level. Whereas if you're pitching to a committee of venture capitalists or angel investors, it may be okay for you to introduce a little more technical knowledge or technical jargon, as we say, into your speech. But if you have a general audience, please keep it simple so that you don't lose your audience.
Yeah, number 5 is get to the point. A lot of times you find people who just rumble, beat around the bush, and then before they get to the point, trust me, you're going to lose your investor. Get to the point, eat the nail on the head and then get to the point. Number 6, be realistic and honest. A lot of people overstate the situation. It's okay because you're going to get money, but this is what's going to happen. Investors are going to do their research and find out that you lie. You're going to lose your credibility and your reputation.
So those are the 6 do's. In the next frame, we'll be talking about the don'ts, what you absolutely should not do. For this segment, we're talking about the don'ts. When we talk about don'ts, these are things that are likely to be deal breakers for your pitch, for your likelihood of getting any money from any investor. Number 1 is failure to listen. A lot of times, when you're given a pitch, you're so excited about the idea that once you're done and then the questions start coming, you don't listen well and you're not able to answer them. So it's really important for you to take a step back, listen to the question properly. If you're not sure, you can even repeat the question to make sure that the person that you got it right before you then attempt to answer. And still remember that when you're answering the questions, don't start going all technical or rambling around. You have to be on point, but answer the question to the best of your ability. If you really don't know the answer yet, you can say, oh, we hadn't thought about it. It's something we will try and research. So the second thing you should not do is to force a pitch template to fit your business model. For example, in the earlier segment, we talked about all the 8 or 6 things that you need to do. If your business model doesn't follow that path, don't force it into it. The other thing you need to think about is that the investors listen to maybe 10 pitches a day. If everybody has the same heading and they speak the same way, then it becomes really, really boring for them. So you need to do something that will make you stand out from the pack. Your idea must come to them, must be a little bit unique.
The third one is do not ignore risk. A lot of people ignore the threats to their businesses. And then you find out that when the business launches, they begin to face that reality. And then it affects the company financially. So sit back as you begin to build your business, so as you begin to pitch to investors and you begin to write your pitch, identify what the risk of your business and the threats to your business are. Is very critical. The fourth one is don't make assumptions you cannot justify. Like a lot of entrepreneurs do not verify assumptions. There are a lot of places where you can get resources to verify your assumptions. Do surveys. Interact with your customers, identify every problem you have identified, verify all of them, and figure out if you are making the right assumptions. And then that will be very important for you as you pitch your investors. When they ask you questions, you'll be able to back them up with them.
Okay, number 5 is you need to make sure you ask for adequate funding. So when you think about where you are in your business cycle, how much money do you need? Sometimes you're a little bit scared. Maybe I should just ask for a little bit. Once I'm able to do something with it, then I can ask for a whole lot more. But sometimes that little bit does not get you to that next milestone. So you need to make sure that what amount you're asking for is realistic, because the investors will ask you, how do you intend to use the funds? So as long as your use of funds is accretive to the business, and you can set a clear milestone that if I invest X amount in marketing, this is what I intend to get from it, and this is how I'm going to measure the impact along the way, it becomes a lot easier, to explain to your investor why do you need to spend that much money on marketing. Or as we mentioned in the earlier segment, why do you need to hire somebody that's more experienced to join your team? Because at the early stage, as a founder, you may be able to take a very low salary. But if you now want to hire somebody to grow your business, you may have to start paying more competitive salaries, and that does not come free. And finally, you need to make sure that you create a vision. And when you talk about a vision, you need to have an idea. Do you want to be the next Facebook? Do you want to be the next Netflix? Do you want to be the next Dangote? That vision that you have for where you're taking your company to, it must be clear by the time you end your pitch. And the energy with which you're going to drive that business, to succeed with all the milestones, that has to come out. Because those are the things that at the end of the day, if there were 10 people pitching, maybe only 2 or 3 will stand out. And it's those people that create that vision, that lasting memory for those in the audience as well as the investors. Those are a few points.
Yeah.
For me, anything else?
Yeah, if you imbibe this 6 points for the do's and 6 points for the don'ts, I'm sure that you'll have a fantastic pitch. And who knows, the investors are going to call you the next week.
Thank you.